Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for September 12th through 16th, 2022. Well, wow, we had this powerful Pisces full moon this weekend, and we're still feeling this, a very magical spiritual energy, a little bit of harmonizing factors, very helpful in all of the intensity that's going on. We've got a whole season of intense squares pushing us into the main tension is around where our everyday life doesn't reflect our true level of consciousness. In fact, for most of the Piscean age, supernova souls have been living out of congruence. And this is such a huge energy right now, with Mercury retrograde inviting us to rework, rethink, and reimagine our lives. The other thing we're feeling is this weekend we'll have the sun in Virgo coming into an opposition with Neptune. Now, the sun is who do we think we are, our identity in Virgo. It's about wanting to clean up our identity, wanting to sort through, wanting to purify. And in opposition to Neptune in Pisces, it's like we're facing down who we were in the Piscean age. And what that means, well, there's two parts to this, right? But the main energy that's coming up for a lot of supernova souls around this is where we've had to play small, hide, perhaps be that beggar on the street. Whatever we had to go through to hide our light and pretend that we weren't who we were. And now, in such a radical change, we're being asked to wake up and own it and have confidence in showing and being who we are in the world. This is Mars and Gemini asking us to come forward. So we have to resolve these old personality constructs, and often that's kind of like I talk about the roles we've played in past lives, and where we've got, perhaps it didn't go the way we wanted to, we didn't complete our mission, and then we're kind of stuck in that identity. This is a different energy, similar, but it's like where we've played small, pretended we weren't who we are, go along to get along just to survive. And so we're coming up against all of the false parts of ourselves. And isn't that interesting? It's happening at the same time as we're moving into this big square. We're already feeling it. We're feeling it so intensely right now. Saturn square Uranus. Saturn in Aquarius, square Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius in Taurus. But Taurus is about physical form and the earth and our value system and our reality. Saturn in Aquarius is what's in the way of building this new reality, the Aquarian age. So a lot of this is pointing to our self-worth in Taurus, Uranus. So Uranus is higher frequency vibrations. And in Taurus, it represents our value and our self-value. So it's like these messages coming through around, yeah, this whole other reality that we've already experienced, but we gave it up, we forgot, we agreed to forget, um, and to lose who we are in the truth of our advanced potential as advanced souls in a human body. And we can't go forward that way anymore. The discrepancy between our everyday mundane reality and who we are as soul spirits is getting very too painfully far, right? It's this whole feeling of being trapped on the wrong timeline. And I know supernova souls have been feeling this. But it's trying to reconcile. And it's interesting because when we talked about how Mercury first moved over into Libra, it was kind of like, oh gosh, this is another retrograde season. We're not getting anywhere. We're never going to get anywhere. It's like, that had to do with this Black Moon Lilith square Chiron that we're still feeling. But that's starting to lessen now as we move into the next big square, which is this Saturn square Uranus, and the pressure to change our physical reality. Now, this is on all levels, so it's always helpful for supernova souls to just be like, okay, I know that this world is effed, and it doesn't fit the reality of true spiritual reality on any level. But we can only work from here, you know? So where do we need to address and adjust our life to align more fully and completely in each moment of every day to the truth of who we are? And that's how those outside changes happen. Because we're in a projected hologram of our own making. So if we are, then that means that we can take back control. And that's exactly what we're learning, relearning, remembering. Um, so this Mercury retrograde, even though it feels like, oh my gosh, we're never going to get anywhere, it's really actually a huge opportunity for like this loop-de-loop, kind of like we're making a big leap from the wrong to a more appropriate timeline, and we missed markers. So we've got to go back and get these markers. And that seems to be the energy. So, because it's very interesting if we think about this Mercury retrograde, so many messages here. Because Mercury is went in shadow in Virgo, now is in Libra, just turned retrograde on Saturday, same day as this Pisces full moon. So that's 3 weeks of a retrograde cycle. And now Mercury is going backwards and will head back into Virgo, then back into Libra after it turns direct on October 2nd. So we have to look at the powerful messages here, because this is, we talk about how important the Aries point is, that 0 degrees Aries. 0 degrees Libra is the exact opposite. Moving into the second half, it's all about a balance and the exact point between, the equinox, between the seasons. So that 0 degrees Libra is an exact mirror of that 0 degrees Aries, and how powerful that Jupiter's retrograde. Jupiter made it to 8 degrees Aries this year and then retrograde, and Mercury in Libra turned retrograde at 8 degrees as well. So powerful number 8 is a number of transformation. We're transforming our identity, who we are, our life force, our relationship to life force with Jupiter and Aries, and we're transforming our relationships. It's like we've been living in, most supernova souls have been living in relationships that have been based on control and distracting and invalidating your bigger soul path and purpose. So you can see how we got to get it right with our relationship to ourselves first before we can really come back to love in a healthy, healing relationship. But this is everything. Maybe this has been part of the whole, Aries has such a beautiful energy of let's get up and go, let's make it happen, let's move, let's get the fire going, but it's also very lonely path, and just this esoteric loneliness of like, the ramifications throughout your lifetimes of choosing your own way and being true to yourself and having to go it all alone. Part of this Mercury retrograde is like, it doesn't work that way this time, right? We're redoing all of these patterns and rewriting all of these stories. And the Supernova Soul Tribe journey is no longer solo. I know it feels like it, but it's not. We came here as a group. We're remembering who we are. We're coming back together. We need each other. We need support. We need healthy relationships. We got to figure this out. And it's a sticky, sticky place for supernova souls. And so how powerful that Mercury is going over the 0 degrees Libra point 3 times and making 3 exact oppositions with Jupiter. So now that Mercury has turned retrograde as of Saturday, coming back into its second opposition with Jupiter in Aries. Now that's going to happen at 4 degrees. So that's half of 8. And it has an energy of establishing something new, 4 walls, some structure. So a new structure around relationships and ultimately our relationship to ourselves first, right? Because this is what supernova souls have found themselves waking up, lifetimes of appeasing and making other people feel happy and doing what they think you should be doing because you've been so gaslit and lost and distracted from who you are and why you're here, living everybody else's life and agenda. So it's such a powerful energy of like picking up those lost, missing pieces of ourselves so that we can come back into love. So we're just coming off, like I said, we still got the influence of the Black Moon Lilith square Chiron, bringing up the deepest wounds of around nurturing and the illusion of separation, feeling lost and alone and abandoned, triggering the deepest unmet childhood needs and painful places. But in a way, that is a powerful preparation for this Mercury retrograde and the um, other squares that are happening. Because just this weekend, on the same day as the full moon, or actually on Sunday yesterday, uh, Saturn retrograded back to 19 degrees, and that means, and Uranus is at 18 degrees. So the Saturn square Uranus, this epic energy of frustration and pressure around reconciling our energetic reality and our physical reality, our conceptual reality and our spiritual reality, and it's like, wow, we can't get these to fit. And there's just tension around the stubborn energies that haven't allowed positive change. So we're really feeling this. And again, it's like, yeah, we want to see it out there, but where can we work? Only from here. So we want to work on those belief systems. What's coming up is those things that have we've done so much work, supernova souls, but then there's these stubborn places that haven't been able to move. And that's what we're finding. Now, smack dab in the middle of that huge Black Moon Lilith square Chiron and Saturn square Uranus, we've got this weekend, actually the same day that the sun opposes Neptune, we've got Venus and Virgo coming into exact square with Mars and Gemini. So it's bringing in energy, especially with this retrograde energy, a lot of rearranging, because this is all mutable energies here, right? We got Venus and Virgo in square to Mars and Gemini. And then we have the sun in Virgo, opposite of Neptune in Pisces. So those are bringing this mutable energy, which is about a shifting and change and being flexible. And we've been, it's like, so there's going to be some feelings of this confusion. Like, I thought I knew where I was going. I was finally get some direction, and now it's retrograde season again, But it's like, if you know that you got these missing pieces and they're laid out right there for you, it was confusing, but now that you can go back and review, you can pick up those pieces and put yourself back together. And this is exactly what this energy is of this next couple of weeks here, or week and a half, of the sun still in Virgo, and we got Venus in Virgo. Clean up, get organized, get grounded. Don't worry too much about that stuff going on out there, because you can only work from here. And just kind of be like, okay, this is when I backtrack. This is when I go get that stuff I missed. And it's so crucial and so important, because as we've got this, the sun opposite Neptune facing down our false personality constructs from the Piscean age, underneath those is our true identity of who we were at the beginning of the Piscean age, when we were embodying this mystical spiritual revelation. We were so in touch with our greater mission and purpose and joy and connection and community and celebration of what this life really means and the power and beauty of it. So we've got to find that true identity underneath the false identity constructs. But this picture's coming up of like, how many times or lifetimes or situations for supernova souls that, in order to survive in the Piscean age, I just see this picture of supernova souls taking on identities very far away from who you are, like that beggar on the street, because nobody's going to think that beggar on the street is a saint. And all of the ways that we fit in to society, took roles and played games and tried to do the best we could, but all the time having to play along with the rules of the authoritarian controllers. These are just all the false identities that we had to adopt. And is this what's going on? I mean, because to me, it's like, oh, this kind of makes sense now. The dark feelings that were coming up with that Black Moon Little Square Chiron, um, where in order to hide our light and our bigness, we played really, really small, like down in the gutter. Maybe that's the feminine, how she got there, because she was just programmed and taught that she should not have that power and not show it. It'd be dangerous to her and other people. It's really dangerous, actually, to the matrix control energies. And once we get a handle on, here we are in our everyday life, cleaning stuff up, right? Just getting our retrograde act together and stuff, our ducks in a row. But also, we've been getting this, keeping the big, big, big picture, which is that beautiful. If you didn't catch the Pisces full moon activation, wow, what an experience, journey into the Pisces energy, really helping us be in the container that holds all, right? The source. And it was like picture of like a holy grail, and us going ahead and taking our rightful place back in the edge of things, in the container, in the love, in the primordial waters that create all and hold all. And just from there, everything's going to work itself out, in perfect balance and harmony. But it was a beautiful reset to a vibrational energy of what it's going to feel like to make the next energetic upgrade, because so many of us don't realize it, but as we evolve and grow with these new energies, we're encountering fear programming and trauma energies. And so the message is like, oh no, don't go to those higher frequencies. That's going to hurt you or other people. It's bad. You don't know what you're doing. It's not yours. Da, 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 right? I was like, no, it's just happening on its own. And so we've got to reconcile this. And maybe that's part of this Mercury retrograde too. So it's like, hold on, let me just get oriented, right? Like, whew. And really cool. Just get our ducks in the row at the same time. Spend as much time as you can in that, the energy of this upgrade. It was a feeling of levity, of being supported by the universe, and working together with the energies. And so it's like the complete opposite of what they want us to think. They want us to think that ascension energies and higher frequency vibrations are destructive, right? Going back to Atlantean time. So we never go there. And we've been at this threshold again and again for so long. And I'm telling you, you supernova souls, we're not staying here this time. We already won. We've already been there, and we're taking it back. And it's going to be super amazing and exciting. So we want to prepare. We need to use this time of preparation. It's important to know that, like I said, we entered into retrograde season, and it was this whole feeling of like, oh my gosh, everything is so never going to get anywhere. But we have to look at the bigger cycles of time we're dealing with here, and that this whole energy that started in 2020, 2019 does not resolve until 2024. It starts to shift next year. I mean, next year in 2023, we've got the beginning of the sextile between Saturn and Jupiter. Mystical, magical, powerful energy around inviting a whole new financial system that's in alignment with spirit. We've got Pluto moving over into Aquarius. We'll retrograde back into Capricorn and then move into Aquarius for good in 2024. So those shifts, that's the marker we've been looking for, right? And now, since we're in this Mercury retrograde, and then we've got, as soon as we get out of the Mercury retrograde energy, we're going to move into Mars retrograde. Mars is very different than Mercury retrograde, and we'll examine the benefits and the gifts of that retrograde season as well. But we got to keep a little bit of a longer picture of what we're doing here, and that there's no way to stop this massive shift. We're playing a crucial role, and we got to get out from the gutter, out under the rock, out from under the where we've been hiding in whatever way, and find that strength. Now, that's bringing me to, I think I got distracted, of course, but of the square. So these big, the Black Moon, Lilith Square, Chiron, big energies, slower moving energies and lasting a long time. Same with the Saturn square Uranus, pressuring these changes that we need to see and want to see. Um, and That one is going to last for 2 whole weeks exact, and we're gonna feel it all the way into December. So, it's a huge energy, and it's kind of that thing of, like, you're up against the wall, right? We can't keep having these energetic upgrades and then not have any adjustment. So, maybe these mutable squares and mutable energies are about that, especially with this Mercury retrograde, this loop-de-loop paperclip thing where we gotta go back parallel to where we came from, to pick up those markers we missed so that we can now accelerate onto that more appropriate timeline. But next weekend, on the same day of the sun opposite Neptune, we've got Venus, that Venus square Mars. And that's right in the middle of these two big generational energies of change. Venus and Mars are our daily planets, they're called, affecting more of our daily life. We feel them more. And so um, this Venus square Mars is a very powerful energy happening on the 17th, next weekend, the same day that the sun's opposite Neptune. So we got this read on the sun opposite Neptune of like, you can't keep playing like you're nothing. Like, get out of those rags and put on your new gown, Cinderella. Um, and then uncovering that true identity, this remembering, the strength, and the sun, Venus and Mars square is actually a really powerful dynamic because it's like we've been having for the last 3-4 years, message after message, one Venus's empowerment, feminine empowerment, masculine empowerment, what they need to learn, what they need to grow, like how they need to do. And now they're starting to communicate with each other. This is like a council, and they're coming to the table and they're going, yeah, I want to come back and work with you. Right. But you got to deal with this, right? It's like the feminine, the divine feminine, divine masculine, or not so divine, trying to come back into balance. And each of us pointing the finger at the other, right? And the masculine saying, girl, get yourself up. And the feminine saying, dude, how can I do that without you standing strong by my side? Right? We got to stop this blame game. We got to stop this internal battle. And in this case, Venus is in Virgo, and that is about the cleaning up of the feminine. And on the heels, Black Moon Lilith square Chiron, very powerful, deep, dark mysteries revealed so that we can heal them. And then Mars and Gemini, this exalted leader, this warrior of words, that powerful, confident man who can stand strong and true and speak the truth and protect the truth and protect that life and the beauty and sanctity of life. So, this is a very powerful energy and exactly happening that next weekend. Now, that's just a few days before we move into the equinox, which will be next Thursday, September 22nd. So, there will be a Supernova Soul Group session for the equinox. Wow. And I think it felt like that Pisces full moon was kind of a moving us into the energies of the deeper work that we can do with the Equinox Soul Group session. That's a group intuitive session where we go deeper into past life energies, contractual clearing, healing, soul retrieval, soul group work, timeline alignment, all that is on the table. Very exciting time for us to be together. And then there will also be soul group sessions for the equinox, for the eclipses. There's one at the end of November and one at the beginning of December. And so this is a really great way for us to make the most of this incredible time of preparation for the new world that we're bringing in. Because this Mars retrograde energy, Mars turns retrograde very close to Halloween at the end of October. And yeah, actually on the 31st. Mercury or Mars turning retrograde in Gemini, and will stay in Gemini. And then doesn't turn direct until January 12th, I believe. So the message around this Mars retrograde in Gemini is this preparation of our new leaders, those reluctant leaders, the lost leaders, supernova souls that you've been a leader, you have all the skills, and yet you're pretending that you're just a librarian or whatever. I don't know. So we are awakening and remembering who we really are. And that's a huge energy of this equinox and this whole season. And keeping in mind that bigger timeline of and what this Mars retrograde means of preparation, a deep and profound initiation. I think it's very powerful that Black Moon Little Square Chiron just leading up just to when Mars went into retrograde shadow. So that's telling us what this warrior journey is about, right? Is remembering, getting out of that low self-worth, claiming back our wholeness, our health, our connection, and stepping forward in being strong and confident in expressing this truth to the world. The supernova truth, which we don't even know, we're figuring out, right? But it's the only thing that stands in the way of the takeover of AI. You know, literally, we represent a defrag of the system. So, that can make this retrograde season feel like, okay, okay, okay. I got my marching orders. I know what I'm doing here. I got a little time to prepare. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought there was something bigger I needed to do, but that is like off the charts and I don't even know. So it kind of turns this whole season around for us. And for the first time in 3 years or so, 2.5, it'll feel, even though it's retrograde, you'll feel some direction. It feels like clarity and direction because it's like now you've gotten your marching orders. Now you were able to go back and hit those markers. And so, of course, it's individual for each of us, but it's important to talk about up till the equinox. We've got, and this is powerful because the sun will be triggering this. The sun is going to have that opposition with Neptune. We're facing down the false identity constructs and who we really are underneath that. And then as healers in Virgo. And then 2 days later, the sun comes into an exact trine with Pluto, really sweet Earth trine. So, what this is doing is the sun is triggering the Pluto sextile Neptune. This is a backdrop energy. And it was really kind of brought out with that Pisces full moon. Pluto in Capricorn and Neptune in Pisces, very powerful combination in the sextile. Pluto is about transformation of the structures of authority, and Neptune in Pisces is about the Piscean age and the oneness and our connection to the oneness, whether or not we need permission to go there and whether or not we deserve it and can begin to work with, again, with our co-creative machinery and abilities. The sextile between these is so cool because it's like, it's just like I'm kind of seeing a picture of a sculptor and a sculptor working with not necessarily knowing what form wants to come underneath. This is who we are right now. We're like chipping away, right? We know that's not who we are, and we know that's not who we are, but underneath is this form that's coming. And so this Pluto sextile Neptune is helping us to basically claim the dream. And even though we don't remember who and exactly what we are and what we're doing, we know the feeling of it. And maybe that was what felt so powerful in that Pisces full moon was like literally an energetic reset to a frequency that you've already experienced before, but it's like your next upgrade. And like I said, we've got all this programming that keeps us from making that leap and we're knocked back down, right? And so this was a reset. It's like, no, it's not going to feel like trauma on the end of the world and you don't have any friends and you're all alone. That's where we've been. This upgrade is you working with the energies of the universe. The higher frequency vibrations are supportive, finally, supernova souls. You know how difficult it's been for you as this big expanded being to be in this small form and to feel so restricted and blocked in physical reality. These energetic upgrades, it's like a whole different way of being. It's like levity and feeling that the universe is coming up to meet you and hold you and work with you. So, wow, looking at that and going back to that Black Moon Little Square Chiron, it's like, it's good we went to those depths of anything that was keeping us from feeling whole and complete and loved and part of the love of the universe. So, um, we've got our work cut out for us, and we got to keep our eye on the prize while we continue to do. It's like we had to go to face that darkness. Now we do the work to clean it up. And we're really lucky to have this moment in time and this space to breathe. And so next weekend, powerful energies, Sun us opposite Neptune, Venus square Mars, and then leading us right into those equinox energies. And that um really will be feeling the Saturn square Uranus stronger and stronger as we go through this. A very powerful moment in, well, basically, Mercury will turn direct on October 2nd, and that is the same day that the Saturn square Uranus is exact. So that's going to feel a little weird too, because like, oh, direct motion. And it's like, fixed square, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere until you get on board with yourself, your true self, and put yourself together, clean up your act, get organized, and finally love yourself enough to take up space on this planet, come into your full expression. So, Mercury then on the 11th will move back into Libra. So, that's really powerful because it'll be going over that, opposing that Aries point. Um, and crossing over Jupiter again. And then Jupiter will go back into Pisces on the 29th of October. So that's when we're going down. Maybe this has all been a preparation for the deep dive of Jupiter back into the end degrees of Pisces. That will be for the month of November and up till December 21st. So maybe that gives us a marker here of this chapter as we head into the equinoxes energies all the way to the solstice. Powerful internal preparation to be able to leap onto that more appropriate timeline. Now, with Mercury at the very beginning of Libra, this retrograde season, we can see how important it is in relation to everything else that's going on. And the early degrees of Libra want that perfect balance, want to bring the world back into love and balance and harmony. And how powerful that we've got a Venus square Mars right during the retrograde, in the middle of the retrograde, basically. The Venus square Mars will be feeling or start feeling it this week, when about Wednesday, and then all the way through the 20th. So all the way almost up to the solstice. And so with Venus and Mars trying to come back to the table to work together and being serious about listening to each other about what needs to happen, it's all about coming back into love and balance and harmony. This is what the only thing Earth ever wanted to be here for. And so the Mars square Venus is like our feminine and masculine within, where we've been warring with each other, our feminine and masculine within relationships, in society, in our mind, our right and left brain, learning again how to operate together, which is bringing us into heart consciousness. And so just know that everything is trying to bring us back to that love, that cup of love, that holy grail that we are a part of, even though we're stuck down here in our everyday reality. That Venus or that Pisces full moon activation gave us that picture of like, oh, how cool it is to play in the outer waters and with our enlightened brothers and sisters, and be in the energy of possibility instead of reacting to the dictates of this reality and going on the emotional ride and the misery and the trauma that they want. They feed on that. And if we want to create something new and different, we have to learn how to be in this place. And that's the energetic upgrade and a beautiful reset into, wow, cool, I'm doing my work and I feel really good. Instead of like, oh, you think you're going to move towards enlightenment? We're going to beat you down once again. It's like so different night and day. So that's why we need this rearranging time. And know that with the mutable energies of these mutable oppositions, um, and mutable square, Venus, Mars is mutable square, Sun, Neptune. And that energy is kind of like, where we go, nobody knows. It's that train in the roundhouse going around and around. And then it's like, what track did I come from and where am I going? And it's uncomfortable. We've been here for so long. The last couple of years, we keep revisiting this. But now we know why we're rearranging and what we're making room for, and that we're heading on this deep and profound initiatory journey into our subconscious to claim back the treasures and the memory of who we are, and that we've already lived and expanded in higher states of consciousness. We've already worked with technology beyond what we can conceive. It's in us. We've done it. And nothing can stop us. I'm going back into that. And it feels really good. So here we are. And I, with what we're still feeling right now, still feeling that Pisces full moon energy, because the sun is in this trine to Uranus, and we'll feel this for the next couple of days. And Uranus is just the awakener. It's higher frequency vibrations. And in Taurus, it's awakening our self-worth for who we are and our higher abilities. And so once we have a glimpse of that, even though we don't know what it exactly is and how to work with it, it just is going to clarify everything. And maybe it's like these sextiles, because the full moon made a sextile with Uranus, and a very beautiful relationship to the nodes of the moon, harmonizing the nodes of the moon. Black moon Lilith was harmonized with the nodes of the moon. And so it's like the way forward, we can do this, we can work it. And everything has to do with this higher frequency vibration, the permission for, the embodiment of, the remembering, and the claiming. So very powerful set of astrology. And I hope you'll consider joining the soul group session. That'll be next Thursday, the 22nd, for that equinox. And I'll have information out about that soon to sign up. And just enjoy this time of, in a way, it's like it's high pressure with these squares, but it's also like you got some time to adjust and, be right here and organizing your life right here, or be out in the primordial holy grail uh, possibilities of beautiful possibilities of co-creation. And we'll meet you there. Thank you so much for being with me. And please consider if you're called to do deeper work at this time. I mean, we talked about this astrology the next 3 months. This is the timeline for the intuitive training, 12 sessions. And the intuitive training is a culmination of my life's work. It's a basic psychic training, working with the chakras, but then everything that I've studied and experienced in my own intuitive guidance. And every group of students that's come to the intuitive training brings new pieces. So I'll have more information out about that too, but it starts on September 29th. So keep that in mind. That might be your next best step to commit to yourself. The intuitive training is about learning psychic boundaries. Supernova souls are so intuitive. And when you're so sensitive and empathic, intuitive, you end up shutting it down. So when we learn how to hold our boundaries, we can actually open back up to the power of our intuition. And chakra by chakra, clearing and healing contractual arrangements with your ancestry, your family, relationships, authority contracts, fear programming. And it's all about working with the levels of the chakras and the energy anatomy, the simple tools, psychic tools that we have available to us. Again, it's not teaching you to be intuitive or teaching you how to use this. It's about remembering. And then opening up to this idea and concept of the light body, the one true chakra, when we have all of our levels of consciousness integrated and understand an energy anatomy, we can move into this light body activation. And so it's a preparation, it's a deep mystery school designed to uncover who you are, your gifts and skills, and help you remember and work with these higher powers. And then that is a prerequisite for the Dream Team, which is a masterclass coaching program where we get together and we do advanced work together and really get the groundwork going for the projects and build this Supernova Dream Team together. So I hope that you can consider joining that intuitive training. Or if you've already done the intuitive training, perhaps the Dream Team coaching masterclass is right for you. So more information coming about all this here. And thank you so much for being with me and going through all you've gone through. I love you so much, Supernova Souls. Have a wonderful week. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, Adrienne Elise. Namaste.